Las Vegas Fight Shop has 2 locations, one at Fashion Show Mall on the Strip, and the big daddy of MMA stores, the Las Vegas Fight Shop at Miracle Mile behind Planet Hollywood. Carlos Condit, Chris Lieben, Tito Ortiz, and Dominic Cruz were all big winners. The Las Vegas Fight Shop already has their walkout t-shirts in stock. Everything MMA is available at the Las Vegas Fight Shop. Affliction, Bad Boy, Tap Out, and even Stephen Bonner's cool new Trash Talkin' Kids line. It's the Las Vegas Fight Shop at Miracle Mile and Fashion Show, and if you mention ESPN Radio 1100 or TC and the Sunshine Man, you get 10% off your total purchase. You know, I didn't ask you, when you watched the Fedor fight against Henderson, how did that make you feel? Because, you know, there you go, hey, you're a 205er who fought heavyweight, that could have been you, and, you know.
Yeah, you know, I was excited for Danny.
Yeah.
I've long since put all that to rest and kind of had to walk away and let go of all that a long time ago in order to come back to Zuffa. And you know, there was like maybe a year there after I came back to Zuffa and fought Lesnar that I thought there was still a possibility that you know, Fedor could sign with Zuffa and it could happen. But I just kind of had to put all that to rest and let it go. And so, you know, Danny's been a friend for more than 20 years. I was excited for him and excited for the opportunity to see him win that fight. And it was a great fight. A lot of fun to watch for 2 minutes there. And
it was a great fight.
Yeah, it was exciting.
Dan Henderson has put together quite a run recently because, you know, the story you figure, hey, he's in Strike Force. That's it. He's done. He'll never be back in UFC again. Now it's like he's got to be back because he's a contender at 205.
Yeah, oh, you know his contract's over. That was his last fight in his contract, so now they got no choice but to renegotiate. And this is what I was saying about me thinking Strike Force is going to be done. They took Diaz away. They've cut the heavyweights essentially down to almost nobody. Barnett's the only heavyweight over there that will probably never come back to Zuffa if the opportunity arises. Every other heavyweight now, other than Karatanov, every other heavyweight's going to make the transfer over. But really, all their main stars have been pulled. And Henderson, I don't want to go out there and say I guarantee this is going to happen because, you know, dealing with Dana and Lorenzo, sometimes things that I don't know about are going to happen and push it off. But I think Dana's going back to the UFC. We're going to get an announcement here in the next 30, 45 days that, hey, he's back. Because that's where he needs to be. He needs to be challenging in the 205.
There's a very, very good possibility of that. I think we can see the Anderson-Silva fight again, the rematch.
Oh, really? Wow, I'm glad you said it because I've been saying it for like 3 years now. I'm like, well, because first of all, MMA, the bloggers and the fans are like, no rematches. Like, what do you mean no rematches? Fights are inexact. I mean, you don't feel well going into fights. Things happen. Things end quickly. Yeah, of course he deserves another chance. He's one of the only guys, and Chael obviously showed the formula. He had a great first round. He made a mistake in the second, and he admitted afterwards maybe he wasn't 100% for the fight.
Well, I think we all saw that. He immediately in the second round strayed from the game plan that won him the first round.
Yep.
He's the only guy besides Chael who's taken a round from Anderson in the last 5 years. So tell me that doesn't warrant a rematch.
I think he'd be competitive at 205 with all the top guys. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
What would happen? I've asked you this about, you know, John Jones with you, but what would happen? You know, say Dan and John are locked up because pretty much everyone who's locked up with John Jones, he's just thrown.
Well, I don't think he'll throw Dan.
No, I don't think so either.
No. I tried several different ways. You can't even get his feet off the ground half the time.
Yeah. He's got a ton of muscle memory from years and years. He started wrestling when he was 5 years old. He's a very, very good wrestler and one of the strongest guys I've ever worked out with. He's got that gorilla grip. You got to ask him for your hand back.
Yeah. Now he lost to Rampage. What was it, like UFC 75 at 205? I think he'd beat him now. Because I think Dan has evolved. I don't know that Quinton Rampage Jackson has evolved.
It would be an interesting rematch as well to see that fight and to see if Dan takes a little bit different approach than he took with him. I was actually surprised in that fight. Rampage did a pretty fair job of kind of out-wrestling Dan in a couple of those situations that won him those rounds, and that surprised me.
Now, are you hesitating? Are you holding back on Rampage now?
Holding back? No.
Okay.
I didn't even tune into all of it.
Did you see all that?
I
was like, what was that?
I didn't read it all. I knew where it was coming from, and timing is everything, but there were negotiations going on between the parent company Affliction and Rampage for a new contract for representing, and he represented Extreme Couture, one of the subsidiaries of Affliction, and I think he wanted a reason to go with Elite, and so it coincided with me inadvertently giving a pick on the fight with Matt Hamill. I didn't know that these.
Well, you're giving a pick.
Yeah, total, subjective. Obviously subjective to me, but objective. I try to be as objective as I can. Rampage and I have been friends. We were represented by the same guys for a long time back in the day. I've been in tons of meetings with him. I was shocked that he was that upset about a stupid pick.
Right.
You know, I thought it boiled down to wrestling. Hamill had a little bit of wrestling. I thought Hamill would be able to take him down and would wear him out and steal the rounds. And it was that simple. And Rampage did a good job of making it real difficult for Hamill to take him down at all and picking him apart. He did a great job. I was the first one to say, well, I got that one wrong.
I'm glad to hear you say that, because Josh Burnett hated me for 2 years because I picked Martin Hunt over him because Josh couldn't stop an overhand right, and he won, and then Josh won, and then I picked Masaki over Baroni, and Baroni had a horrible game plan. He got beat by Masaki, and those two guys hunted me down for 2 years and wanted to beat me up. Like I had a fight in practice with Baroni because I picked against him.
I mean, yeah.
Don't guys understand at this point? I mean, it doesn't make you hesitate at all in making picks. Like, really, you're going to question my objectivity? Like, it's not personal.
I think most of the guys get it.
Yeah.
It's nothing personal. Those guys are still friends. I wish them well, and I hope they do prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But I have to objectively try to figure out how their styles go together and make a pick as who I think is going to win that fight based on that technical aspect of the sport. And sometimes I will totally opt out because I'll just say, look, you know what? I like both these guys. They're both my friends. I don't want anything I say to affect either one of them. So you know what? I'm not going to pick this one. We'll see what happens.
Decrepit old has-been or something like that. It was what Rampage said. I was like, really, dude?
I tell you what, man, he's got
really?
the best lines. Like
he is really good. Yeah, I'll tell you, I was surprised that right away Jones was getting involved in it. I thought John would stay out of it a little bit, and Rampage suckered him in like right away at the press conference, talking about new breed and you're boring and this and that. And Rampage is good.
John's pretty witty too.
Yeah, he is.
John can go if he wants to go.
So let's get some fight picks from you. Before we do that, what's going on with the movie stuff? I thought you were going to be gone.
I was supposed to leave Wednesday, but some production issues, and then they held me off till tomorrow. So I leave tomorrow for Baton Rouge. We start shooting Monday, so off and running. We're supposed to shoot till the 1st of September for this movie for Hijacked, and then we start Expendables 2 September 20th right now.
And that's like a secret location?
They haven't told us yet.
It's going to be
no script still? No script? That's awesome.
I've heard rumors, but I don't know what.
They're going to be filming in Prague, and it's going to be and they're going to give them the script, but it's only going to be in Queen's English. And then they're going to make sure that Jet Li is back on set, and they're going to give it to him in Japanese. Think Jet Li's Chinese, so he can't read Japanese. That's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
I heard Rampage is going to be the foil in Expendables 2. He's going to go out there.
Yeah, who knows? At this point, all I'm doing is I'm hoping Randy gets more juice so I can get a job in Expendables 2. All I want is a cameo appearance where I walk in and I get the crap kicked out of me, but I got to say at least 4 lines during the action, because if there's an action sequence and there's lines in it, they tend not to cut those lines out of the movie because it doesn't make sense in the action sequence. So at least I'll get my SAG card so that I'm in. See, that's how it works.